We're live?
We are live.
All right, welcome to Around the Metaverse, our new weekly show where we bring together the best content creators from the blockchain and NFT gaming community to talk about all the recent news and go over everything you need to know to stay up to date. My name's Adam, and I'll be your host, but more importantly, we've got an A-list cast for y'all today. I'm joined by Cagy, better known as Cagyjan across social media, Zueljin from Zueljin Gaming, Jake from On-Chain Gaming, and last but certainly not least, the best mustache in the West, CryptoStache. Now, we're going to cover a few different topics today, including whether or not play to earn is the future of gaming, why every major NFT game drop has been a huge flop so far, and how big money might be coming in to fix some of that. Big money, baby. I know this is our first show.
Everyone loves money. Everyone's like, what? Ears perked up. They're like, what? Big money? What'd you say?
And big mustache.
Big money. That's what we're all about here, man.
So big mustache.
Big money,
big mustache energy, and big money energy. But before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for being here today. This is our first episode of our weekly show. I also wanted to go ahead and say for all you guys watching right now, go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, hit subscribe to stay up to date on, all the stuff we're about to cover today. So let's jump in on our first topic. I think we're going to actually have a lot of similar opinions on this one. Are NFTs and the play-to-earn model the future of gaming? Stache, I'm going to go to you first.
Oh, getting a dance party going on.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why we're all here. I think that we're all here in this space because we realize that NFT gaming is the future. I'm about to turn those alerts off. Hold on. There we go.
I'm too crazy.
Yeah, well, it's a dance party, man. People follow. They love the dance party. The making that globe drop. So what are you gonna do? But yeah, I mean, oh, still not off on this.
Come on!
Keep coming. Don't talk. Keep coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the NFT or play to earn is definitely the future. I've been in lots of situations where I've dumped in tons of money, and I'm sure the rest of these guys are feel the same. I put in thousands of dollars into games, and then I'm like, oh man, I love this game, and then a year or two later, I'm like, yeah, I'm over it. Then it's like, what do I do with that game? What do I do with that money, man? Like, what about all my shit? And so, like, you could try and sell on the black market or something, but I think that the problem is that first that may get you banned, right? And then, but you may have some issues with, people in general scamming off of doing things like that. So there's not a lot of trust there. So you end up with all these items and things in games. And I've left tons of value on the table in games in the past. And just like, I don't know, what else can I do? There's nothing else I can do about it. Like, I just throw my hands up, like, screw it. I don't know, And so I think the play to earn model really allows you to get in there, monetize your time instead of having to go through backdoor channels. You're playing WoW and you're farming gold, and then you get banned because you can't be selling gold and stuff like that. But these new games really allow you to do those types of things, and allow people to do things they are already doing or wanted to do, instead of wasting all the time that these developers have on trying to stop stuff like that happening. Why not just incorporate it into the game? And I think that's where play to earn really comes to light, and why crypto, really helps to power that.
Yeah, no, it really changes a virtual game into a real virtual reality, like where it truly matters, and it is enabling the first true virtual realities. 100%.
Think about grind. Our day-to-day grind in real jobs, real life, whatever we're trying to achieve, we're willing to work for. It's monotonous, but it all has a point. In games, grind gets very monotonous really quick. And if there's no point at the end, what you want to do, just stop playing the game. But if there's earning involved, it becomes just like the type of activities that we're doing now. We're going for the gold, We show up every day, we do what we're supposed to do, we get our earnings, and we take a break, And that's what the great thing about play to earn models are in general, because that grind becomes much, much more relevant, not for only in-game progress, but outside the game progress.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I totally agree with everything here. The only thing I see is that there's going to be two worlds. There's going to be like the play to earn fully tokenized economies, and then also just NFT games where something, I'll give you an example. Ember Sword. Ember Sword is a hybrid game. It's a game that is using blockchain technology to, power an economy of skins. And I think we're going to have that world. You're not going to have a 10-year-old necessarily going into a play to earn game. I mean, some of them will go because their parents will allow them. We've seen that in Axie. There's a kid that is making thousands of dollars. His dad is also invested in Axie, and he's 12 years old. 12 years old. I actually interviewed him, and he's making money. But some kids are not going to be able to do that. And most of the parents are going to be like, no, like real money for you? You're just a kid. That's like almost like with the cell phone, right? Like,
but they're already spending it on skins and stuff. I mean, like you see tons of kids spending money on skins in all these games. I mean, and so maybe if they
for
had
the skin is fine.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, the skin is fine, but the other assets are way more valuable. If you have a weapon, right, it's a different thing than having a skin. If you lose a skin, you just lost a skin. But a weapon is a little more valuable. Those are high valued assets that I just don't think there's gonna be like kids are gonna be playing that necessarily, right? Like play to earn, fully tokenized.
It depends. I feel like if you could educate parents, if parents could really start to learn how NFT gaming, how gaming on the blockchain is different from the traditional games that have existed since gaming started, and how value can be retained, and how something after it's used could be sold secondhand to someone else, and about how it's not the same like trash can money hold of like Fortnite skins. And even me, I spent thousands on League of Legends skins, and it's all useless. So if parents could be educated, like, hey, you buy this for your kid, and maybe they'll be able to earn something with it, but like if they get bored of this game, you can sell it later on, and it's not the same money hold that it was before. So I don't know how long it will take before parents become savvy to that, but eventually it'll happen.
There's a losing aspect. That's the problem here. In Fortnite, you don't lose anything. Like you buy something, but you never lose it. So the losing aspect, I think maybe some parental, kind of like confirmations, which would be a hardware wallet where the parent kind of says, okay, I'll buy you the skin. Whenever you want to sell it, you got to talk to me. I got to sign the transaction.
Multi-signature.
That's how I see.
Yeah, don't give the kid the wallet. Don't let the kid sign the smart contract to put their NFT on the line to enter that zone.
So in that case, I do see, I agree with you guys. Play to earn for everybody. Fuck it.
I mean, so like a good example is my daughter's 11, man, and she plays Roblox, and she loves trading in that game, and she knows how to value things. She understands that this pet in this game is worth X dollars, and but that's something that took a while for her to understand. She's definitely gotten wrecked and got scammed out of things and things like that too. Where she's like, oh my god, my things are gone, and it happens. So you're right. I think some sort of parent oversight makes sense at up to a certain age.
That's important.
So maybe you have some of these parental controls for kids that are a little bit younger, but they still have the option of turning it on, with the parent's consent, and that way they then can actually go and buy and sell in the marketplace, and they're not. Maybe it's not connected to a funding source per se, except for whatever you have there. So that way, if you're buying and selling, you can work from that wallet, and that's it. So you're not tapping, because that's something that you see a lot of times with like Fortnite things. Like parent puts in credit card for Fortnite, doesn't realize they can go and buy all these V-Bucks on the store, and then next thing you know, parent has like $3,000 worth of V-Bucks purchases on their credit card. You're like, what have you done?
I thought I was trying to could.
Well, I think that's all really good points, and I think that we're going to see this conceptualized in a lot of different ways. Like you were saying, I think the play to earn economy is going to appear in sort of different varieties across different games. There's going to be your total like advanced blockchain, like you're going to need to know your stuff to get in. And then, for example, there's going to be games like I'm sure you guys are familiar with My Neighbor Alice. One of their goals is to literally be a blockchain game where the people playing it don't know necessarily that they're interfacing with NFTs and blockchain. And this is going to be where things start to get a little bit crazy, right? Where the parents and maybe even the kids themselves aren't even going to know that they're generating money, right? And then maybe once they watch one of your guys' YouTube videos, they're like, man, I've been playing this game for 5 months now, and I'm a millionaire. I got millions of dollars, and I didn't even know it. You know what I mean?
Ember Sword, 100%. Ember Sword, I think it's going to be... I don't know if we got some more questions coming. Maybe we'll get to that point. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Go for it, Cagyjan.
I'll give it back to Alex.
Yeah, get in there.
Back to Alex. I kind of want to, be structured, Go for it, Alex. What's the next question?
I think it brings us to our next topic. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So what I was getting at there was we're going to see a lot of these games kind of appear out of nowhere. And I think one of the best and most successful of those so far has been Axie Infinity, which I know a lot of you guys have covered so far. It's actually done a 30x in daily active users since the beginning of this year, which, and I mean, it's generating. You know what? I'm gonna go to you, Cagyjan. How much revenue is Axie Infinity generating as of right now? If you can give me just a ballpark number.
Jesus Christ, I don't know the revenue right now.
Okay, wait.
I think I checked.
I got something crazy to share with you about Axie. So, and this is completely in line. So you guys know how AXS has just been skyrocketing. And like whenever a coin shoots up a ton, everyone assumes like, okay, like this has to pull back now. It's probably overvalued. But when you actually look at the Axie token and compare it to like Roblox and Roblox's evaluation, and then you look at how much revenue Roblox earns compared to how much revenue the Axie Infinity protocol is earning, it's crazy. I want to read this one paragraph for you. The AXS market cap is 6 times their annualized revenue. By comparison, the publicly listed high-growth tech companies viewed below are trading anywhere between 36 and 139 times their revenue multiple. So Roblox is like super overvalued compared to AXS. And like just looking at tech companies, like AXS 6 times, it's trading at 6 times annual revenue. And the cheapest tech stock is trading at 36 times annual revenue. So
that's crazy.
Obviously, there's more risk with ASX token. I mean, it's not like a regulated stock.
No, stocks are not regulated.
They're fakely regulated.
That's just not true.
And if you want to get into macroeconomics, man, who necessarily wants to be in stocks?
Yeah, but like people who pump and dump stocks, they go to jail. Like,
there's inside trading. There's like all of them inside
trading. He
came
out, he was lying to investors, and now he's in jail. It's like with crypto that. At least so far, it will happen eventually, but so far it's way more unregulated. Now that said, I have complete faith in the Axie Infinity team, but this is still a new thing, right? And it's not guaranteed that revenue that Axie's been generating, which has been higher than even Ethereum over the past couple of months. There's no guarantee that's gonna keep going for an entire year.
Right.
But if you do annualize the last few months' revenue, AXS is actually super cheap.
I think it's guaranteed.
What's interesting about Axie right now is they're not doing anything different. They're doing the same thing over and over again at the moment, and it's still generating the type of revenue that it's generating. Like we all saw a very recent explosion in CryptoBlades, for instance, but that was based on a lot of different things. That was based on some fundamental changes to the way the game worked, a lot of updates, and a bunch of promotional stuff. Axie's just like chilling. They just got their Discord running, and people are just doing their thing, and it's still exploding, you know? A lot of the news articles and stuff are really helping and the media and hype, but there's still a lot of room to grow. And that's not even thinking about all of the stuff that's actually going to happen in the game, like the land gameplay actually coming to life and getting mainstream where more people are involved in it. And just in general, the accessibility, the things that they're talking about, maybe soul-bound Axies in the future, giving more people access to play and wanting them to get into the market once they understood the game, because the learning curve to get into it plus the price point is a little bit intimidating going in.
Yeah. I don't think so.
How do you think that's gonna? Oh, go ahead, Cagy.
I think a lot of people want easy stuff, and there's a simple phrase: if there's value, people will find a way, and there's no need to make it easy. This is easier than ever. Once you have your MetaMask, once you have your running wallet, that is just click and log in. That's it. And because there's value.
But you still gotta get all that stuff. I mean, you know, having your MetaMask is one thing, but then it's empty. You gotta get some tokens, man. You know, so
but once you do that, everything just flows. I mean,
once you have the keys, once you're.
I went into CryptoBlade. As soon as it came out, boom, and I just logged in. I changed to Binance. You know, once you pass that curve, that's it. It's easier than email. You know what? Putting your email every single time.
It's not easier than email. Dude, okay, so it is for us. It is for us because we've been doing it. It is for us because we've been doing it. But for normal people, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's easy. Like once they get it going, once they get past the initial hurdles, it is super easy. But until that, man, I mean,
and those hurdles, a $30 hurdle is something that you're willing to tolerate, because if you mess up, it's $30. $1,500 is a whole different story. I did more research on Axie Infinity before spending $1 before I did on mini games, y'all. I go through a lot of games, but I mean, I have 700 in my Steam library. I bought a few. So going into at $1,500, it's just like, well, let's find out a little bit before we.
When you're comparing it to previous games, like it's 100 times more expensive than anything, and that's if you're buying a $150 game, which is already way more expensive than a normal
edition.
Collector's, that's like 2 collector's editions.
But Mom, it has a figurine.
So like when you're comparing it to traditional gaming that we know and grew up with, and like it's everything that you have to compare these NFT games to, because there's like not many other NFT games to compare to each other. So it's a massive jump as far as games go. Which I do think scares people a lot. They're like, I have to put $1,500. I mean, for a lot of people, it's like a month or a couple weeks, a week's worth of income into a game. Like,
it's
that's
a big decision.
Really big commitment.
Yeah, I feel you.
Okay,
I don't think so.
How much of a risk do you think it is right now for those who need to put that much money in?
Everything is a collectible. No, I think people are used to this, especially in the United States. People collect the weirdest things in the United States.
They do.
They're used to this. As soon as this market actually blows up in the United States and people kind of like get over the, this mentality, oh, that's a scam, whatever the hell. As soon as they get over that, people are gonna spend so much money, every single dollar. It doesn't matter if they work at the gas station. It doesn't matter. People collect here all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff.
There's a lot of
guys
crazy.
Does the Axie inflation rate scare you guys?
Okay,
yes.
All right. So I think that brings us to our next topic, and I agree with all you guys. One thing that we touched on a minute ago, and I want to bring it up again. You guys had mentioned Ember Sword, and I know at least 3 of us here, I'm not sure about Zueljin and Jake, but Stache, myself, and Cagy all tried to get in on that Ember Sword drop that happened a little while ago.
Yeah, the land drop.
And for those who attempted, at least initially, I don't think it didn't go very well for me. I don't know about you guys.
But this next topic, it didn't go
I remember the crazy.
But this next topic is about how basically, at least in my experience, and I think in yours too, most major NFT drops, especially ones that have a ton of demand, when that drop goes live, it's a nightmare, man. And a lot of times people feel screwed and cheated out of money that like they took days, maybe even, to get into their MetaMask. Because it's not necessarily an easy task, but Jake, what is your opinion on some of these drops that have gone south, and how do you think we can work towards maybe doing better to get more better infrastructure behind these things?
Things get better over time because you learn from previous mistakes. So when you actually have previous drops and like people who've done drops for other companies, like that's when you have like a new company that's come and doing a drop, they're going to hire someone who's already done this. So the reason why there's been so many issues is just because it's a pretty new thing. And I think the most important thing is just that you do your research on the team and you trust the team's not going to rip you off. And then you just have to be patient and understand that, it might take a little more time than you want, but as long as you know the team's legit, it's like, it's easier to be patient. If it's like an anonymous team or something and that crap goes down,
scam,
then it's like, I actually got robbed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a new way that Ember Sword is applying, and I think it's gonna work good. It's gonna take a little bit more time. It's a centralized way to do it, because essentially what people are doing is sending the transaction directly to the blockchain without going through the website. So they're bypassing the website and sending the transaction to the blockchain. So that's why they're buying these assets before you, and you're clicking here and they're already gone because they already sent it directly, right? So that's what's really happening here. And then on top of that, there's people with a lot of money, a lot of fucking cash. They're coming in big. They're buying everything out. So what Ember Sword is doing right now is centralized, basically. Application. They go through the application. They either accept you or not based on different parameters that they might have. And, they have to go through right now 25,000 applications to sell 6,000 lands. So I think that's a better way. It is centralized, but if, like Jake said, if you trust the team, then you should trust that you send them your money, right? And then they'll send you the NFT, right? So that is a better way. And I think Axie might take a route like that actually in the future, where they receive the money first because the demand is so high. You imagine we have 1 million players right now. So Imagine 1 million people or 500,000 trying to get Axie land in the next land sale. And by the next land sale, we're going to have 5 million players because that's going to be by the end of 2022, probably. So you have to take the money centralized. And if the game already has value, already, I think it's okay because they have proven themselves for 3 years. And I think it's an okay way to go about it.
Now, see, I disagree with that, man. I think that the way that Embersword is going about it is completely wrong, and it goes against everything that the crypto industry kind of stands for, in the fact that you don't need to trust a centralized third party like that. That you can do, use these smart contracts. And you're right, there's definitely people who are front running it, and that is an issue. And we've seen this not just for Embersword, we've seen this for multiple games. Sandbox has had problems too. Every time that there's some big drop like this, there are always people that are finding ways to manipulate the smart contract. But I think because it's just, there's so much, uncertainty out there. These people, in particular, when there's these first drops, after a while, your team, I think, gets like you said, like Jake was saying, you reiterate over this, and over time, the process gets better. But dude, having a manual process like what Embersword is doing is not scalable. Like you're talking about, like how could Axie go through 1 million applications for land? Like it's impossible.
Yeah, they would have to hire so many people.
They would need teams of thousands of people to go through all these things. So there needs to be a solution here, and it needs to be smart contract based. There needs to be something that essentially the smart contract says that if this transaction is not coming from this certain source, then ignore it. And because that's
or just limit, like if you think there's going to be too much demand, limit in the smart contract how many pieces of whatever you're buying can be bought by each ID. Like you can ensure, sure. Or like what Gala Games does is they drop on a day, they do it every 6 hours, they do 25%, and you don't know when the drop's it's going to be in a 10-minute time frame when the drop's actually going to happen. So you have, like, if you're really committed, you sit there, refresh for 10 minutes, and like at some point it's going to happen. And then if you miss it, like 4 hours or 6 hours later, you get another chance, and then 6 hours later you get another chance, and 6 hours later you get the last chance. And that allows people all around the world to be able to have a window when they're awake. And it ensures that someone can't come in and buy up 100% of the supply.
They do drop a lot of things without showing anything.
So how do you prevent against bots with all that too, though? Because bots can manipulate smart contracts just from the user accounts generated. A bot, someone that's efficient at botting can create 1,000 different accounts with. I mean, there's 10-minute email address websites that you can produce in seconds. You can literally set this up in minutes to prepare for a drop.
Maybe you just have to have different ways that it's done and not tell people how the drop's actually going to happen beforehand. Maybe
that could help too.
Yeah,
I've seen Wax. I'm sure Stache could agree. Wax, there's been great drops and there's been terrible drops, man.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is.
Like well-executed stuff, and I've seen stuff that was just like
right. And we've seen that too. So when you look at some of the higher demand NFT drops, even outside of gaming, like NBA Top Shot, they've moved to this queuing system where it is IP based too. So not only are they looking at your wallet address and the unique user, because like Zueljin said, anybody that can create bots, you can go and create 10,000 accounts. So limiting it, how many per account is not always going to be effective, but using a combination of that plus IPs, they're not going to be able to generate 10,000 IPs to be able to get through and get all these things. They're literally using one IP most of the time. I mean, not that you couldn't have multiple IPs, but to do that number of IPs would be crazy. So having some sort of queue system has actually worked really good for some of these, and Wax has just recently rolled that out too, where you have to get in this queue and it randomly seeds you at the time of drop to a number, and that way there's not the same pressure that we see on these networks, because that's what really happened with Embersword, is that while there were people front running, it was actually the entire Polygon network that went down. It wasn't the
node.
Exactly. It was that in the entire, so like literally nothing was transacting on Matic at that time.
Do you think we could learn something from the way that the blockchain works with block confirmations to have some kind of like block confirmation for the drop sales, where like every single one of the transactions is like, I don't actually know enough how the blockchain technology works, but I know like there's proof of work, and like people need to like verify like, okay, all of these are legit transactions before the block actually gets added to the public ledger. And if you could learn from the blockchain to do the drops, There has to be ways to do this really well. It's just a matter of time until people figure it out.
Well, I think this is a good segue into the next topic here, because the infrastructure behind this stuff is what really needs to improve. And I'm not sure if you guys heard, but recently Polygon or Matic, which is the native token on Polygon, recently they actually launched their own division called Polygon Studios. That's actually focused on blockchain gaming and bridging Web 2 games with Web 3 infrastructure. And I just want to read this quick little quote from an article that I thought was kind of had some big implications in what they're trying to do. So Polygon will extend plug-and-play software development kits, or SDKs, for developers such as Ubisoft, Electronic Arts, Atari, and others, enabling them to integrate blockchain attributes into non-blockchain games. The studio will leverage Polygon's $100 million treasury fund to provide investment, marketing, technology, and community support. Now, I think this is a huge step in the right direction, and it's going to help fix some of these issues that we see with drops once the big money gets in and once these sort of standards are put into place, or software development kits where we can develop standards for those types of things. Zueljin, what's your opinion? Do you think Polygon entering the blockchain gaming space in this big way is a good step in the right direction?
The more you get people little taste of what blockchain can do in very convenient ways, the bigger the adoption rate is going to be, I think. Embracing blockchain by itself as one big old chunk was huge for me, just to learn from it, coming from a conventional gaming space to the blockchain gaming space. I think if you do small things, kind of like some of the examples that we talked about with the skins and like what Blanco's Block Party's doing, or things like Fortnite, being able to get these skins and put them into your game versus just giving it all to one person at one time, just like, here, handle all this, get a wallet, get all this stuff. I think it's definitely going to expand a lot of the blockchain adoption.
Do you think that some of these traditional game companies are going to be like super, super hesitant to actually embrace this? Because like, if you think about the business model that they have now, it's like pretty sick. You just have like an infinite number of something, and it costs you nothing to give it out, and just all the money flows directly to you, and you just send them free stuff in return that doesn't cost you anything once it's made.
But you do have secondary markets and profitability that you can get from that. Like, we've seen a certain amount of assets generated on certain chains that just get resold and resold and resold. You don't have to get a new customer to acquire this or whatever. You just get a percentage of somebody picking up somebody else's stuff.
Totally. In the long term, it's going to be way more profitable for blockchain gaming companies. But the thing is, like, companies have a really hard time letting go of their current business model, especially if they're public companies, have shareholders. It's like you're gonna tell your shareholders, okay, we're gonna change everything now. We're gonna change the business model, try to change how we're making money. And even if you can think through and say, oh, long term, this is gonna be so much better. It's like look at the car market, for example. Like, Elon came in, he's like, electric cars are the future, and you have Toyota that is still like trying to get politicians to slow down the change to electric cars, because they want to keep selling their super profitable, high margin ICE vehicles.
I think it might come down to a question of jealousy. If one company does it right in a way that can be modeled after, and they're super successful, there's going to be large companies that are currently making fortunes that look at the ease of access to this and the level of income that these new companies are doing and going to be saying like, wow. Like, can you imagine some of these mainstream games and their population bases even having a portion of blockchain transactions, how ridiculously scalable a token would be? Imagine if WoW tokenized right now. WoW's player base is small compared to what it used to be. But if they even tokenized a portion of their marketed transactions right now, it would be insane, dude.
Insane.
And I mean, that's kind of the thing too, is that, you know, when you look at this model, this play to earn or NFT based model, blockchain model, you know, developers will make a ton more money. I talked about this every day on my Thursday live stream, because the fact of the matter is that, you know, just like we saw the transition from, you know, regular gaming paid models where, you know, back in the day, there was no free to play games, guys. There was no free to play anything. You had to go buy the game. And then this free-to-play model came out, and at first it started with just like some crappy, little mobile games or some crappy online games, and then it picked up speed because people realized, oh wow, this model is really good. And so it took a while for free-to-play as a model where then you have like unlockables like skins, or you're buying keys for your Farmville or whatever it may be to continue up, and that was actually you profited more. They're going to realize that with blockchain gaming and NFT assets, they can profit so much more, because Warriors like, oh yeah, well, we just have unlimited assets. Well, there will always be a need for unlimited assets, but for the assets they deem as being rare, those things have a limited shelf life, because you're going to put a maximum and say, oh, only 10,000 of these rare, and they already do that in gaming. So that's not a new thing. So they already have rare items in gaming, but the fact that they can be resold over and over and over and over and over and over again, and the company is getting a percentage of every one of those resales, you up the value of one of those items by 1,000%. And so I think that's will be one of the biggest drivers for these companies to want to get on board. But you're right, it's going to be a smaller company that really has some huge success that shows, hey, this is the model that is going to be the future, and that's where we're at right now.
Axie is the one. Sky Mavis is the one that's leading the way. And you go to the Sky Mavis website, that's the future of Sky Mavis. Their first model is Axie Infinity, right? And then they're just going to bring action RPGs. They're going to bring all kinds of games, and they're all going to have the same economy as the Axie economy.
Yeah.
Play to earn economies. And I think Axie is going to lead the way, like, by a milestone. I mean,
they already are. Yeah, they already are. They're definitely one of the leaders in the space, because
not Gala, none of those.
Yeah.
None of those.
Well,
Axie Infinity, so on.
Yeah.
Gala is going to be leading the space as well.
Caggy loves.
I'd have Gala too, but I'm honest.
Yeah,
I'm honest. The way Gala manages their community is not the same as Axie, and all that matters. All that matters, right?
Yeah, but
they're gonna be part of the space.
Gala's working with some incredible studios, and I think once games actually start coming out that are like super high quality, the games are going to start speaking for themselves. But you're totally right about Axie Infinity. They have such a big player base now that literally, if like so many companies would love to launch their game in Lunacia, like instantly you access 1 million players. Like the reason why Steam picked up like and became this massive platform where everyone owns their game is because they had a few big hits, and that few big hits brought in those initial users. Once you have those initial users, now you can attract everyone else who wants to develop a game to come publish on your platform because you have all the users. So Axie has all of the play to earn users right now. Compared to anyone else, no one's close.
All of them. 1 million players, imagine. All you got to do is bring one new game into the running network. Not the Axie Infinity, because that's a universe by itself within the running network.
Yeah, no, but the Lunacia, people will buy land, and then they can put a portal in their land to whatever game they want.
Right. But it's going to be with Axie Infinity assets, right? So they're going to provide you the assets, the SDK. Yeah, go ahead. Stache.
No, I was just saying we're already seeing that happen in multiple different ways. So whereas Axie has done really well, I think, in one aspect of that, they are lagging behind in some other aspects. So then you see like what the Sandbox is doing and how they have a certain, way they've gone about it. And so they're lagging obviously in having a playable game, but they've built a lot of the infrastructure out. Then you see what Engine has done, and they, have this already where that's, a multitude of games that are interconnected with interconnected NFT assets. So they've done a good job on that, but they don't have a big hit game like Axie. And then, so you can see each one of these studios has done really well. Gala, I think, has done a great job of onboarding different games and getting a bunch of different titles in that actually are fun to play. But like I said, there might be some lack on the community side of things. So I think that
or it's not better. That's the thing.
Right, exactly. So
that's a mindset behind Axie. You polish one, you make something a banger, and then the next one is gonna be a banger as well. Yeah. And then the next one a banger. It just trickles down. Gala has like 5 games or whatever, or 4. They're like whatever, Engine has whatever games as well, Wax as well,
so
many games.
The only
there's gonna be marketplaces like Steam, and there's gonna be the Epic Games. You go into the Epic Games, and most of the games are premium. And I see the running network as the Epic game. I see Gala as a Steam, a bunch of shit games and a bunch of good games, like a mix of things, and Wax as well. But Axie Infinity, or not Axie Infinity, the running network is going to be like the Epic games. Every single game there is going to be a hit. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and that's harder to do. I mean, that's like just simply it takes more time. You know, you can throw up a bunch of games that are really basic and have a network of them. And so that's what I'm saying. I think each one of these studios and each one of these projects are kind of approaching the same future in a little bit of a different way. So it's interesting to see that, you know, like where their strengths are and where their weaknesses and stuff like that are too. So. But I think, man, we're running a little bit late here. I think we got to wrap it up here. Doms, what are you doing? You're sleeping over there, buddy. What's going on? You're
man. I'm not sleeping. I'm letting you guys talk, man. You guys are having a good one right now.
With you.
Hey, man, I could do this all night. I don't know about you guys.
Illuvium. I like that game.
Yeah, there's so many cool games.
Yeah,
there's so many cool things that are upcoming too. I mean, even just based on what's out now. There's a bunch of really cool looking titles that are getting on board with this. So I think we'll see that future of all of these standards coming to regular games where we can incorporate it, and the games will get better and better. Right now we've seen very basic gameplay, but those AAA titles, they're coming because the money is there. And I think the
Star Atlas, baby.
Yeah, so there's so many really cool ones that are in development at this point. Yeah, Star Atlas. There's so you look at that and like Age of Rust is one of my favorite ones on the engine. It's like these games take a long time to develop, and the studio's a lot smaller.
Good.
Yeah,
it's a good game.
Yeah,
I just think it was kind of like ahead of the time. I don't know if it's completely out. I played the beta.
No, it's not. They only have like a demo part of it, and I played it too, and it's great. And I've been waiting. I'm like, come on, guys, get your shit together. Like all you guys, it's not just them. It's like all these guys. Studios. I want it to be out now.
Yeah,
but we gotta wait.
Illuvium, on-chain gaming alluvial, first leak. This is literally the first leak. On-chain
awesome.
Gaming alluvial. It's so sick.
That's a custom alluvial.
Yeah, it's a custom alluvial.
Wow.
It's the on-chain gaming background.
I've been loading up on ILB.
There's even the anonymous
mask
big, I think. That he's holding with his tongue.
But you get paid for this, no.
But yeah, all right. So I guess rounding it up here, I just had a quick couple ending lightning round questions that I wanted to ask you guys to round it off here. So from each of you guys, what is your favorite old school video game? Starting with Stache.
Favorite old school video game? I'm gonna go with Pitfall. Like that's old school Atari status.
Okay, Zueljin.
What do you think, Zueljin?
Wait,
my favorite game probably
game?
Bandit Kings of Ancient China, Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay,
Jake, go.
It has to be League of Legends. I've spent hundreds of thousands of hours in League Pro.
Old school.
That ain't old school. How young are you, man?
That's old school for me.
Bro, I'm the youngest one here, I'm pretty sure, and that ain't old school. Come on.
Old school? Man. What's the first game I played? I guess Call of Duty, like COD was the first game I played, but that's
I would consider GameCube even old school at this point.
On the razor.
I'm 26, okay?
What's yours, Cagyjan? I want to hear yours, man.
Halo 1 on the
original
first
Halo.
on the first Xbox, doing LAN meetups with people and stuff, like
LAN
connecting
party.
with the LAN party. That shit was the best. Halo took it to another level. It's one of those games that just kind of like said, here, this is how you do a shooter.
Age of Empires 2. Age of Empires
was awesome. Age of Empires, All right.
Yeah, Age of
Halo
Empires
and Elder Swords Oblivion were my first two video games on Xbox, man.
Zu's a boomer for sure. Nah, just kidding, man.
44 and strong.
All right.
A lot of grades.
I think we're running out of time, right? Are we wrapping it up?
Yeah, we got to wrap things up. I think so. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all coming here for Around the Metaverse, our first episode. And all you guys watching, don't forget to check out the links in the descriptions below
Check them
for
out.
all these
Follow,
guys' content.
subscribe.
Go like and follow all their stuff. And tune in every Monday for more of this, man. We're going to be coming at you every Monday with all the best Around the Metaverse news.
Later, guys.
Bye. We love you. See you Monday.